Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. I'm Bob Matthews. This is your one-stop shop for everything going on with the burgundy and gold. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of it. We got some news on the stadium, the new stadium that the Commanders want to build on the site of the old RFK, and I think it's pretty good news. We will let you determine it. I'll give you my thoughts on it. So here is the latest. Yesterday, City Councilman Phil Mendelson, who is actually the City Council President, I believe. I think that's the exact title, but he's the guy that kind of makes things go on council, introduced a bill to separate the RFK Stadium proposal with Mayor Muriel Bowser's budget that council has to vote on by July 15th. That is good news because it shows that council does want to work. They just want a little bit and are open to the ideas of all of this. It's just that they want a little more time. Once that happened yesterday, though, and this is the first piece I want to talk about, the Commanders issued a statement. I want to read it to you and then we'll talk about it. But the statement said the Washington Commanders are committed to working with the council around the clock to keep this project on schedule and deliver a world-class stadium for the district by 2030. This is about more than just a stadium. It's an investment in families, local workers, and long-term economic opportunity that will transform this community, as well as the district and the region. Any substantive delays would jeopardize DC's ability to attract premier concerts, global talent, and marquee events, including the 2031 FIFA Women's World Cup. Most importantly, it will slow new jobs at a time when the district needs them the most. We are hopeful the council will continue to work in an expedited way to approve this deal and deliver a significant win for the people of DC. Okay, so for me, the important part here is in the first sentence. Remember, with a prepared statement that goes out, this whole thing has not only been vetted, but crafted very carefully. The first thing you hear in this is that the Commanders are committed to working with council around the clock to keep the project on schedule. Now, if it's held up by a few weeks, that's really not going to affect anything. It's held up by several months to a year, that's a whole different story. But what they're saying is, as long as things move relatively swiftly, we can get this done. Again, now they do put, they in the third sentence, there is the line about the substantive delays. But again, that's on down in the Commanders did not choose to lead with that. That's down in the statement. So I think, just based on what I know and my experience covering different, things similar to this, I think everything is on schedule as of right now. And when we look at where the votes are and how everything looks, I think everything is still pretty much on track. So let's go ahead and do that now. Who are the votes? Where do the votes stand right now? And how does the council line up? So, and this was in the Washington Post today. You can take a look at it. Right now, you need seven. You need seven yes votes to get this done. You've got 4 council members that are on board. They're like, let's go, rock and roll. I'm ready for it. There are 3 more, including Mendelson, that are undecided right now. But when you look at some of the things that they say they want, some of the things that could push them into the yes category, I don't think the asks are are things that are going to derail this. For one thing, Mendelson, gave probably the clearest signal yet earlier this month that council is likely going to approve this deal. His whole thing appears to be kind of a CYA move. If they're going to do this, he wants a public hearing and then a separate vote on it and doesn't want to rush it through. That seems reasonable. As far as the other 2 go, Matthew Fruman, I hope I pronounced his last name correctly. He says he needs more information, wants to wait for the results of Council Commission analysis that's going on right now. And then Janice Lewis-George says she can get behind the basic funding of the infrastructure work, just doesn't wants the top line contribution from the city to come down. She also wants firmer details, she says, about the affordable housing plan. And I get the feeling that if the Commanders, come up with details on that fair housing plan will provide a lot of political cover for those that are on the fence. And even for those who say no for right now, but, and those are council members White, Henderson, Parker, and Allen, most of them have asks that really don't seem, that big of a deal. Things like more advantageous revenue sharing agreements, concerns about, maybe a better parking deal for the city, labor agreements, things like that. There's even one council person that says, hey, just want to make sure that the stadium we're able to play NWSL games there. That is not that big a deal. You've only really got one council person, and that is Brianne Nadeau, that says absolutely not. So I think it's still, the thing is still on track. There is going to be a public comment hearing the end of the month. And then after that, I would expect a vote sometime the end of July. And I don't think it's going to happen before training camp, but I think it is very likely we're going to have a new stadium proposal before kickoff of week 1. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. We will have to see. But that's just the sense that I get on it right now. A couple other notes stuff going on. Austin Eckler making news. He was on Sirius XM on the NFL channel, giving a big thumbs up and endorsement to Terry McLaurin, saying that McLaurin needs to get paid his money, basically. Eckler saying that, he is probably the best guy. He's probably the, best player on the team outside of Jaden Daniels. And Eckler says, come on, go ahead, pay him. Again, he is going to get paid. I'm very confident of that. No, I have absolutely, no inside information on it, but it just makes absolutely no sense. Let's see, what did Eckler say? He said, got to get Terry paid, and then, man, we are going to look like a powerhouse out there. He's not the only one that knows that. Front office knows it too. Again, sticking point, I think, is that third year in the guaranteed money, but expect to get it done before training camp starts. And finally, there was a story out there about how Luke McCaffrey could very well be in for a breakout year. Now, again, this is the kind of stuff we do this time of year. We're still, 3 weeks away from training camp. You got to write about something. But Brian Manning from Commander's Wire actually, had made a fairly good point as to why McCaffrey could be posed for that breakout. And he says he was one of the best guys, one of the best receivers getting separation. If you dive into the advanced analytics last year, one of the best receivers when it came to getting separation from coverage, just wasn't thrown to as much as some of the other guys, obviously. Did average 9.9 yards a catch. And again, it could very well be, a situation where, hey, you've got a rookie quarterback out there. As great as Jaden Daniels was last year, he was still a rookie. Probably a lot more comfortable throwing to vets like, Zach Ertz in those situations. But I could see his point that McCaffrey could be poised for a breakout year. Again, commanderswire.com if you want to read a little bit more on that. All right, that's going to do it for us. We got to get on out of here. Don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for all of the views. We're going to keep it rolling through training camp and on into the regular season. And remember, like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.